Harper Audio presents Black Fall, a Jessica Blackwood novel by Andrew Mayne. Performed by Jennifer O'Donnell and Fred Berman.
Civilized sciences. Occurrences in this domain are beyond the reach of exact prediction because of the variety of factors in operation, not because of any lack of order in nature. Albert Einstein, Out of My Later Years. It has been concluded that compulsory population control laws could be sustained under the existing legal framework if the population crisis became sufficiently severe to endanger society. Civilized Sciences Foundation, CSF Congressional Report, 1975. Chapter 1. Enraptured. When she saw the telephone pole with the yellow plastic base again, Olivia Fletcher slammed on the brakes of her mail truck, bringing it to a skidding halt. She checked the postal computer GPS on the dashboard one more time. It still insisted this was the intersection. But that was impossible. There was supposed to be a gas station and mini-mart at the corner. She remembered the old man who sat behind the counter, and the two mutts that would slobber on her ankles when she'd stop by to get her bottle of Diet Shasta. The lot was now just dirt, scattered with rocks. It was hard to even call it a lot. The land blended into the rest of the landscape. As she stared out at the empty plot, perplexed, a dust-filled breeze blew into the cab, forcing her to roll up the window. This had been her route 2 years ago. She was positive she'd passed the station only a couple of weeks back on her way to Runyon. Charlie, the carrier who normally had this route, hadn't mentioned anything about the station or the old man going away. There was no property for sale sign or anything else indicating it had been torn down. Of course, Charlie also hadn't said anything about skipping town a few days back, leaving her to take over. Deciding the postal computer GPS was lying, Olivia pulled out her phone to check Google Maps. There was barely one bar of signal. All things considered, she thought herself lucky to get even that much in the Colorado high desert. The map slowly loaded on her phone. In league with the postal computer, it insisted this was the right turnoff. Well, heck, Olivia muttered, then turned the truck down the dirt road toward Moffett. Maybe somebody there could tell her what happened to the station. The last time she'd driven through Moffett, it had been a collection of paint-stripped houses and a trailer park where people had kept to themselves. They all seemed a little churchy to her. They weren't Mormon fundamentalists or anything as far as she knew, just folks who liked to be left alone. Based on the landscape and the shape of the ridge she was driving toward, Olivia was certain this was the road to Moffett after all. Except there was no farmhouse and run-down shack like she remembered. It was just open plain on either side, with patches of weeds and stunted trees half petrified from the dry air. She reached the top of the ridge that overlooked Moffett, but there was no town to see. Even the road, covered in dirt and gravel, was only partially visible. It was the only sign people had ever been here, and barely at that. It reminded her of one of those atomic bomb test sites out in Nevada, after the bomb had gone off. She drove the truck to the exact spot her postal computer GPS said was the center of Moffett and put it in park. She found herself in the center of nothing.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?